absolutely joyful to be here with you today and talk with you a little bit about my journey of learning to love myself. When I was young, I came from a big family. There was 8 children in my family, and a few of us struggled with our weight. I was one of them. I can remember when I was in 4th grade, Mrs. Crow, one of the boys in the class asked the question, what does the word plump mean? And the teacher kind of hemmed and hawed and then pointed to me and said, Shalene is plump. And I look back at the pictures of that time and I look just fine. But I remember just thinking I must have a problem, and I've kind of thought that my whole life. Grew up in a family that we were either eating too much or we were dieting and eating zucchini soup all the time. And just a lot of focus on how we looked. And so I pretty much just grew up feeling like maybe my self-worth was wrapped around how I looked. And I've struggled. And I've been extremely overweight most of my life. It's kind of frustrating to think back of some of the comments made by members of my own family. I can remember doing really good and losing weight one summer, and my brother saying to me as I left for college at the end of the year, he said, "I just can't believe you're not a blimp anymore." That's kind of the sad comments that stick in my brain. And I remember complimenting one of my older sisters about how good she looked. I hadn't seen her in a while, and she turned to me and said, "Well, that's just because you're so fat." I look so good, and maybe I just needed to have a thicker skin and handle it better. But the negative comments from family members mostly, and just myself, my own head telling me negative things, just had a lot to do with pulling me down and not helping me feel a self-worth. So worthy of just being, I guess, loved. And so I've worked on that, and I married the most amazing man. So Joe has been always so good to me, and I've struggled so with my self-worth that I can remember him many times listening to me talk and my frustrations, and then saying, "Shalene, why can't you love yourself? Everybody else loves you." And it's been a journey. It's been rough. It's been hard. Quite a few years ago, I was listening to a speaker, and he said something about how God looks on our heart and just knows our heart and loves us no matter what. I'd probably heard that so many hundreds of times all my life, but for some reason it stuck this time. And I was able to feel like I had some worth and started to appreciate myself a little bit more. Now, it's been a long journey. That was actually when I was turning 50, and I'm 58 now. So it's been a journey over the last 8 years or so to start learning to love myself. I've been reading a lot of self-development books. The books, I just read a tiny bit. I'm not someone that just sits down and reads for hours, but if I read just a little bit each day, then I seem to be able to find a nugget that speaks to me for that day, that I can do better. One of the books I was reading just talked about all these levels that you live your life. And when it got to the level of excellence, I was just like, that's how I live my life. That's me. And I'm reading the paragraphs and I'm just, yes, yes, yes. And then I turned the page and it said, now there's a level of genius. And I was like, there's another level? It's opened my mind to possibilities. I've continued through lots of self-development books and taken a few classes now and a few courses that have just opened up my mind to the fact that I'm okay. I'm okay the way I am. It's okay to make mistakes. And that's been hard for me because I just didn't grow up that way. I grew up perfectionist and probably taught my kids to be that way a little bit too much too. But if we can realize that we are flawsome, Another friend taught me that recently, and I love it because we do make flaws and we're awesome, and that's okay. It's just the way we are. But these mindset techniques I've gotten and release techniques, letting the negative go, thinking positive, it's just truly helped me love myself. Even though I'm not skinny. Wow, I just said that. And it's been quite a roller coaster. I can keep working on my body, I can keep working on my mind, and I can love myself just the way I am. Over these last few years, as my husband says that he loves me, instead of immediately having negative thoughts about, yeah, he's just saying that, how could he? My thoughts go to, he loves me, and I'm lovable, and I'm okay, just the way I am. So when I'm trying to get something done, I quite often say A to B, and here's the road, and trying to get there straight across. And then I have to stop and realize, no, you start and then you make a mistake or you get a detour, and the road to getting there, it just takes some learning, and it takes a lot longer than you think. And it's okay to make those mistakes, because those mistakes teach you something. And then when you get there, you're even better than you were, because you're able to have learned along the way from all of those mistakes. Well, I have a lot of stories to share with you in the coming weeks about a lot of mistakes that I've made, but a lot of lessons that I've learned too. But I would say that the most important one is that I'm learning to love myself just the way I am. And I know that you can do that too. Thanks for joining me today. Sorry about the tears. I'll try and keep those under control. And I would love to share this saying with you as we end today. We each get to choose how we respond, act, and feel. And wouldn't it be great if we all chose joy? Joy's been my word for a long time, just helping me think positive. And I want to choose joy no matter what. How I react to situations, how I respond, how I think, I want to feel joy. I wish that for you too.